My name is Olivia, and I'm 27 years old. My younger sister, Emily, is 25. Growing up, we were close, but there was always an underlying tension between USA mix of love and an unspoken competition. She was the whimsical, free-spirited one, while I was the responsible planner. This dynamic reflected in everything we did, even in the extravagant birthday traditions our family held dear. In our household, birthdays were more than just celebrations. They were events. Each year, family members tried to outdo one another with thoughtful and impressive gifts, almost as if we were all part of a silent contest. But Emily had a habit of breaking the unwritten rules. She never put effort into her presents. It wasn't that she was bad at choosing gifts, she simply didn't try. Year after year, she handed me last-minute clearance rack finds from discount stores, sometimes with price tags still attached. She called it part of her quirky humor, and everyone else just laughed it off. I, on the other hand, spent weeks planning her gifts. One year, I saved up to buy her a custom necklace with her birthstone, costing nearly $200. In return, I got a flimsy coffee mug with a sarcastic phrase, "I'd agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong." Another year, I tracked down a rare art print she had admired for months. She gave me a pair of mismatched socks. It wasn't about the money. It was the lack of consideration. I always put thought into her gifts, and she never did the same for me. My parents always excused her. "That's just Emily," they'd say. "She's artistic. She sees the world differently." I had heard these excuses so many times I could predict them before they left my mother's lips. But here's the kicker: Emily wasn't indifferent when it came to what she wanted. She was obsessed with a designer handbag, a $2,000 luxury piece that she had practically made part of her personality. She posted about it constantly, saved pictures of it online, and even claimed she was manifesting it into her life. She always said she was saving up, but every time she came close, she'd blow her money on concerts, clothes, or the latest tech gadgets. Our family joked about it. "Oh, that bag? Let's see if she finally buys it this year." But deep down, I knew she was just waiting for someone else to give it to her. Then everything changed. After months of stressful late nights and hard work, I received a major bonus at my job. It was more money than I'd ever had at once, and for the first time in years, I felt like I could afford to treat myself. I strolled into a luxury boutique, the kind of store I usually avoided, and there it was, the bag. The same one Emily had dreamed of for years. I hadn't planned to buy it, but something in me shifted. I had spent so much of my life prioritizing others, making sure Emily felt special, making sure she got what she wanted. And what had I gotten in return? Cheap, thoughtless gifts and excuses. So I did it. I bought the bag. The moment I walked out of the store, I felt a strange mix of triumph and guilt. This wasn't about Emily. I reminded myself of that over and over. I bought this for myself. It has nothing to do with her. But I couldn't shake the feeling that once she found out, all hell would break loose. My birthday arrived a few weeks later. Emily showed up late, as always, carrying a small, hastily wrapped package. When I unwrapped it, I had to hold back a sigh. It was a second-hand keychain, one of those cheap plastic ones you get at souvenir shops. Worse yet, it was broken. Emily laughed. "It reminded me of you." I forced a smile. "Thanks, Emily." I placed it aside and continued celebrating with my friends and family. But deep inside, something inside me finally cracked. Years of being treated like an afterthought had piled up, and I was done pretending it didn't bother me. The next morning, I posted a picture on Instagram, a casual photo of me holding the bag with a caption about treating myself. It wasn't directed at anyone in particular, just a simple celebratory post. But I made sure to tag the brand, knowing Emily would see it. It didn't take long. Minutes later, my phone buzzed with an incoming message. "Emily, why do you have my dream bag?" Before I could even type a response, my phone started ringing. I picked up. "Hey, Em." She didn't let me finish. "What is wrong with you?" she screeched. "Why would you do this to me?" You knew I wanted that bag. You knew how much it meant to me. I took a deep breath. Emily, I bought it for myself. I work hard. I got a bonus, and I wanted to treat myself. It had nothing to do with you. You knew I wanted it, she repeated, her voice growing more hysterical. You did this on purpose, to hurt me. That's not true. You don't even care about designer bags, she accused. You don't care about fashion like I do. You just bought it out of spite. I clenched my jaw. Emily, I don't owe you an explanation. I bought something for myself, with my own money. End of story. She gasped like I had slapped her. Oh my God, you're actually keeping it. Of course I am. Silence. Then she hung up. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. The fallout. An hour later, my dad called. Olivia, sweetheart, your sister is really upset. He began in his usual placating tone. You know how much she wanted that bag. I closed my eyes and pinched the bridge of my nose. Dad, I didn't take it from her. She had years to buy it. I just bought one for myself. Right, he said awkwardly. But wouldn't it be easier if you just gave it to her? I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. Are you serious? It's just a purse, he reasoned. Is it really worth all this drama? Dad, if it's just a purse, then why can't she buy another one? He hesitated. Well, you know, Emily, she doesn't have as stable a job as you. And, Dad, I've given her expensive gifts for years. I've put in effort. She's never done the same for me. And now, because I bought something for myself, I'm the bad guy. He sighed. That's just how she is. I felt my stomach drop. That's just how she is. The same phrase I had heard my whole life. The same excuse they used every time Emily acted selfishly. Well, I said, my voice calm but firm. This is how I am. I'm keeping the bag. There was a long pause. Then, disappointment clear in his voice, my dad said, I just hope you don't regret it. And he hung up. Social media war. I thought the drama was over. But later that night, Emily made a post on Instagram. She didn't mention me by name, but it was obvious who she was talking about. A picture of the bag taken from the store's website with a caption that read, Imagine working so hard for something your whole life, only for someone to take it from you out of spite. Some people really don't know how to be a good sibling. I stared at my screen in disbelief. Was she serious? My notifications started blowing up. Mutual friends messaged me asking what was going on. A few even agreed with her. Wow, Olivia, that was kinda cold. One friend texted. Did you really need to buy that bag? Another wrote. I felt a pit in my stomach. No one cared about my side of the story. No one cared that for years, I had been the one making sacrifices while Emily took and took and took. For the first time in a long time, I realized something. Emily was never going to change. And I wasn't going to apologize. So I made a choice. I blocked her. The final straw. The next day, Emily sent a long, dramatic text message. Emily, you have no idea how much you've hurt me. I can't believe you would betray me like this. I don't think I can ever forgive you. I hope you're happy ruining my dream. I stared at the message. Then, without a second thought, I deleted it. For the first time in my life, I put myself first. And it felt amazing. Blocking Emily on social media gave me a moment of peace. No more passive-aggressive posts. No more guilt-tripping messages. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was in control. But the calm didn't last. The next morning, my mother called. Olivia, we need to talk. I sighed. Let me guess this is about Emily. You know she's really hurt, my mom said, her voice laced with disappointment. She says you're shutting her out instead of trying to make things right. I let out a bitter laugh. Mom, what exactly does making things right mean? Giving her the bag? There was a long pause. I'm just saying, she said carefully, maybe it wouldn't be the worst idea. I clenched my jaw. Unbelievable. You're really asking me to give up something I bought for myself because Emily threw a tantrum. My mother sighed. I just don't understand why you had to buy that bag, Olivia. You knew it would hurt her. She's had years to buy it, I snapped. She wasted money on concerts and clothes and gadgets instead. How is this my fault? It's not about fault, she said, like she was trying to keep the peace. It's about family, and I think you should be the bigger person. I felt my grip tighten around my phone. You want me to be the bigger person? Fine. How about you tell Emily to start acting like a decent sister? Tell her to actually put effort into our relationship instead of expecting me to do everything for her. You know she's always been different, my mother said softly. That's not an excuse. There was another long silence. Then, as if she was giving me one last chance, my mother sighed. So that's your final decision? Yes, Mom, it is. Her voice was quiet, disappointed. I just hope this is worth losing your sister over. Then she hung up. Escalation. I thought things couldn't get worse. I was wrong. Later that day, a mutual friend sent me a screenshot of Emily's latest Instagram post. It was a long, dramatic story, filled with carefully cropped screenshots of our messages that conveniently made her look like the victim. She didn't mention my name, but the implications were clear. I've never felt so betrayed. Some people would rather hurt their own family than see them happy. Money really does change people. Comments flooded in. OMG, who would do that to you? That's so cruel. You deserve better. If that happened to me, I'd never forgive them. I groaned. This was ridiculous. But Emily wasn't done. A few hours later, I got another message from a different friend. Hey, have you seen Emily's GoFundMe? I blinked. Her what? They sent me the link. I clicked on it, and my jaw dropped. Help me finally achieve my dream. That was the title of the campaign. In the description, Emily wrote, For years, I've dreamed of owning this one special thing. It's more than just a bag, it represents everything I've worked for. But unfortunately, not everyone in life is kind. Some people take things from you, and it hurts. I'm trying to stay positive, and I know there are good people out there who believe in dreams. If you'd like to help me finally achieve mine, I'd be forever grateful. Her goal? $2,000. The exact price of the bag. I stared at my screen, my blood boiling. This was a new level of ridiculous. Even worse, people were actually donating. Relatives, friends, even some of our mutual acquaintances who had no idea what was actually happening. One of the comments read, It's disgusting how some people treat their own family. I hope you get what you deserve, Emily. Another one? Wow, your sister sounds toxic. Stay strong, Queen. I slammed my laptop shut. That was it. I was done. Drawing the line. I called Emily. She picked up, sounding smug. Oh, now you want to talk? I took a deep breath. Emily, take down the GoFundMe. She laughed. Why? It's not hurting you. It's dishonest, I snapped. You're acting like I stole from you when all I did was buy something for myself. Well, maybe if you weren't such a selfish. I'm not giving you the bag, Emily. Silence. Then she scoffed. Fine, whatever. I'll just buy it myself. With what? The money you're scamming out of people? Oh my God, Olivia, she huffed. People want to help me, unlike you. I clenched my teeth. You know what? I'm done. Keep playing the victim. Keep making me out to be the villain. But don't expect me to care anymore. And with that, I hung up. Then I blocked her. On everything. For the next few weeks, I ignored the drama. Emily's GoFundMe didn't raise enough money. She only got a few $100s before people lost interest. And eventually, the campaign disappeared. She tried a few more jabs on social media, cryptic posts about how some people in her life had betrayed her. But when she realized I wasn't engaging, she gave up. Slowly, the situation faded. My parents eventually stopped pushing me to apologize. I think they realized I wasn't going to budge. And Emily? A few months later, I saw her post a picture of the bag on Instagram. Except, it wasn't the bag. It was a cheap, obvious knockoff. She didn't admit it, of course. She posed with it like it was the real deal, basking in the attention. But anyone who knew designer brands could tell. I didn't comment. I didn't react. I just smiled to myself. Because I had won, not because I had the bag, not because she didn't, but because, for the first time in my life, I put myself first, and I didn't let Emily guilt me into giving that up. The lesson. Months later, I took a work trip overseas. As I sat in the airport, the bag beside me, a stranger smiled at me. "That's a beautiful bag," they said. "Where'd you get it?" I smiled back. "Oh, it's just something I treated myself to." I didn't tell them the story, because in the end, it didn't matter. What mattered was that I had finally learned an important lesson. Sometimes, the best gift you can give yourself is walking away from people who don't respect you. For a while, things were quiet, too quiet. Emily had stopped posting about me. She wasn't reaching out. My parents had backed off. And for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. But then, out of the blue, I got a text from my cousin Mia. "Mia, hey, just a heads up. Emily's been talking about you again. She's telling people you ruined her life." I sighed. "Of course she is." "Me. What now?" "Mia, she's been telling everyone she had to go to therapy because of what you did to her, that your selfishness caused her a mental breakdown." I actually laughed out loud. "Emily? Therapy? The same Emily who once said, 'Therapists are just paid friends for weak people.' Me. Let me guess she's also trying to make people feel bad for her so they buy her things?" Mia. Yup. She even hinted that she deserves a fresh start and needs a vacation. I wouldn't be surprised if she tries to start another GoFundMe. I shook my head. At this point, it was almost amusing. Emily had tried everything: guilt, manipulation, public humiliation, and none of it had worked. Now she was rewriting history, making herself out to be the tragic victim of my cruelty. I could have gotten angry. I could have confronted her. But instead, I just didn't care anymore. She could tell whatever story she wanted. I was done playing her game. Family drama. A few weeks later, I was invited to a family gathering. I almost didn't go, but Mia convinced me. "It's been months," she said, "and honestly, people are starting to realize how ridiculous Emily was being." So I went. Emily was there, of course. She gave me the cold shoulder all evening, acting like I had wronged her. I ignored her. Then, during dinner, my uncle made a comment. "So, Olivia," he said, "I hear you and Emily had a little disagreement over a handbag." I took a sip of my wine and smiled. "Oh, you mean the one I bought for myself?" He chuckled. "She made it sound like you stole it from her closet." I laughed. That's funny, considering she never owned it in the first place. A few people at the table smirked. I could see it, some of them knew Emily had blown everything out of proportion. But my mother still wasn't ready to let it go. "I just think it's sad," she sighed. "Two sisters, fighting over something so silly. If only someone had been the bigger person." I set my fork down. "Mom, the bigger person sets boundaries, and that's exactly what I did." She frowned. "But you two used to be so close?" "No, we weren't," I corrected. "I just spent years catering to her while she walked all over me." The table went quiet. Emily stood up abruptly, muttering something about needing air, and stormed off. I just kept eating my dinner. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I had to chase after her. Months passed. Emily and I barely spoke, but something interesting started happening. Relatives, mutual friends started reaching out. At first, it was subtle. A cousin who had taken Emily's side at the start messaged me asking how I'd been. An old family friend liked one of my Instagram posts for the first time in months. It was like they had finally seen what I had seen for years. Then, one day, Mia sent me another text. "Mia, guess what? Emily finally bought the real bag." I blinked. "Me? Wait, seriously?" "Mia, yup. She posted a whole redemption arc about how she worked hard, saved up, and proved everyone wrong. She's acting like she climbed Mount Everest." I checked Instagram. Sure enough, there was Emily, posing with the bag. The caption read, "Hard work pays off. No one can take your dreams away from you. I snorted. Hard work? Emily had spent years expecting someone else to give her what she wanted. And now that she had finally done one thing for herself, she was treating it like a life-changing achievement. Good for her, I guess. But I was too far removed to care. For the first time in my life, Emily's actions didn't affect me. Her tantrums, her drama, her manipulation didn't touch me anymore. And that was the real victory. A lesson learned. One afternoon, I went out for coffee with Mia. As we sat down, I placed my handbag on the table. Mia smirked. Still got it, huh? Of course, I said. I earned this. She laughed. You know, I think Emily's madder that you didn't give in than about the actual bag. I smiled. I think you're right. Because in the end, it was never really about the bag. It was about control. Emily had spent her whole life believing she could manipulate people into giving her what she wanted. And for the first time, she had hit a wall me. I had set a boundary. I had said no, and I had stuck to it. And that was something she couldn't stand. I took a sip of my coffee and glanced at my bag, the same one that had caused months of drama. But now, it was just a bag. A beautiful, well-earned, completely mine bag. And the best part? I didn't regret a single thing.